Today's job, filling cracks. Come with me in the bathroom. Come on. So I was sitting on the throne, as you do, and I felt a slight breeze. And so me being me, decided to investigate what was going on here. So put my hand down, which I find is the best way. You can hold a lighter there, which will actually blow to show you that the wind's coming through. But I find just feeling, you can actually feel if the wind's coming through there at all. And there was a slight breeze. So I had a look, and what happens with log homes is that they still move throughout the years. So you've got to always check throughout the seasons and see if there's any new cracks appearing. And sure enough, it's a tiny crack, but that little breeze coming through, it makes a huge difference. So I'll show you what's going on here. Here we have the wall, and this is where it joins. Now, in between here, there is a piece of wood, and I see that there's been some silicone used, and there's been a little bit of filler at some point. Obviously, there's a hole there. But right in here is where I felt the little breeze coming from. So what I've done is I've actually filled it with insulation in that section. And what I'm going to do now is actually use silicone. I haven't got any chinking, otherwise I'd probably do chinking on the inside. But silicone also allows the logs to move because, of course, throughout the seasons, the logs are still going to move. I mean, they move the most in the first year. But yeah, you've got to keep an eye on this. So I'm going to fill this with silicone. The thing with the log homes is they do require maintenance. You read online that they don't require that much maintenance. Now, the new log homes, for sure, they have the way they're slotted together, you know, the chinking in between is brilliant. But, she's an old girl. She was built in like 75, 76, so yeah, a little bit older, like some of us. So she does need a little bit of maintenance, or quite a lot of maintenance to be fair, to make sure that she will last. Now, log homes, you'll read online, they can last, 50 years, or, they can last longer, they can last a lot longer, as long as you keep up with the maintenance of them. And this is what I'm doing constantly throughout the seasons. Okay, so I've got my silicone here. So I'm going to put a little mask on because I find the smell of silicone a little bit strong. Now, ideally, like I say, you actually will use chinking if you can, or some kind of caulk, which is suitable for wood. But this gap has already been filled with silicone, which means I'd have to pick it out and do it. And I also don't have any in the house right now, and the roads are a little bit treacherous. So I'm going to work with what I've got here. Like I say, not the best option to use silicone. If you can use the real stuff, perfect. But we've got silicone there already, so might as well just add on it for now. You probably saw me use my hands there, and I took the gloves off. It's not advisable to use your fingers on the silicone, but I find with these logs, the only way I can get in the cracks is sometimes I've got super skinny fingers, and so I can get right in there. And then of course I make sure that I clean it all off. I use 100% alcohol to get that off, but then it creates a nice seal, and I'm a bit of a stickler for having smooth finishes. I'll show you. And there we have it. All gaps filled. That'll dry in about half an hour and we'll go clear. And the best part is that I can no longer feel a draft. Oh yeah. Someone take the silicone gun out of my hand. Anyway, my work email, as you probably just heard, is going nuts right now, so I've got to get back to that. But just to explain what I was doing, basically any areas that had silicone on and there was gaps or holes, I was refilling and doing that. Other areas that had no silicone, I'm going to leave because I want to chink those and do those properly. And then there's areas where this spray foam was used, and I can't stand that stuff. Like, if you use it, do it properly, cut it back, sand it back, do it properly. But I don't like to use it. I don't find it effective. I find it flakes. So, yeah, much better to use chinking or caulking if you can. So there you go. A few more holes filled, a few less drafts. Woo!